Hey guys, it's Alexis.
And I'm Chase.
And you're watching The Weekend Experience. Well, hey guys, welcome back for another brand new amazing series. We are so excited. This is my friend Chase, and he's going to be joining us today in our workshop.
Alexis, this place looks incredible. I mean, the workbench, the tools, it looks awesome. Can I come in here and build some stuff sometime?
For sure. We have plenty of tools you can use.
But I do have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
What are we doing here? I mean, what's the point of us being in this workshop?
Valid question. Well, our entire series, we are going to be talking all about Joseph. So this seemed like the perfect setup.
Cool. So, I mean, Joseph, the tools and stuff totally makes sense since he was a carpenter. You know, he was married to Mary.
No, actually,
and he was Jesus' earth dad?
Yeah, no, not that Joseph. That is the New Testament Joseph. We are talking all about the Old Testament Joseph. Different guy who has a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that we could learn from his life.
I know, he has an amazing story and I can't wait to get to it, but before we do, we still have some fun stuff that we gotta do also. Gordy is here with us today and we are gonna be playing some awesome games.
Yeah, bring it on, Gordy, let's go.
All right guys, it's time for Games with Gordy.
Woo!
Hey everybody, it's Gordy, and today we are doing the yoga challenge. So everybody stand on up, let's stretch it out, okay? Deep breaths, loosen up, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. Today, we're gonna need to be flexible, because what's gonna happen is in a second, up on the screen, you are gonna see a yoga pose. And together, we are gonna do our best to copy that pose and hold it for 5 seconds. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, first pose. All right, the tree pose. Hands up. Just like this, hold it, concentrate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold it. Oh, great job. Next one, here we go. Warrior pose. Oh, this one looks difficult. Everybody, let's do this together. Hands out, leg up behind you, don't kick your neighbor in the face. Hold it, keep it steady. Oh, you need balance. Let's go. Complete, good job everybody. Wow. All right, next. Oh, this one is difficult. Everybody down on the ground. You really need to be flexible for this. This one might hurt my back. Here we go, everybody together. Oh, the pain. Wow, I'm sure you're doing better than me. Oh, that's all I got. Wow, I hope you guys did good. I'm sure you did. Way better than I did. I should have stretched before I came today. Okay, here we go. Then it's, oh my goodness, stay on the ground. Here we go. Get ready, couple deep breaths. Feel it inside of you. Let's go. Everybody together. Oh man. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm out of breath. This is very hard. How are you guys doing? Last one. Make this the best one you've done yet. Everybody down. Stretch it out. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Give yourself a round of applause. You all did amazing. I might need to work on my yoga some and go home and take an ice bath because I pulled a lot of muscles. But great job every day. Hope you had fun. See you next time.
Oh, that was one of the most difficult things I've ever tried to do.
Really?
Did you think that was easy?
I mean, maybe it wasn't easy, but it was super fun.
Fun? I don't think so. I'm more of like a weightlifting, repetition, barbell kind of guy. That was more like a twisty, bendy, stretchy challenge.
Well, while you work on that, we will do something else. Why don't we jump in for some worship? You guys ready? Everybody stand to your feet and let's worship.
Isaiah 30:18. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all those who wait for him. For the Lord is a God of to show mercy to you. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all those who wait for him. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all those who wait for him. So wait for him. Wait. Come on now, wait for him. Wait. Come on now, wait for him. Wait. Come on now, wait for him.
We know in all things God works for the good of those who love him. We know in all things God works for the good of those who love him. When I'm having a bad day, things aren't going my way, I know that God is with me. He's still there, he never leaves. We know in all things God works for the good of those who love him. We know in all things God works for the good of those who love him. I know that I can love you because you show me the way. Nothing can separate me from your love. You are for us. We know in all things God works for the good of those who love him. We know in all things God works for the good of those who love him. You work for our good. You work for our good. You work for our good because you love us. You love us. You work for our good. You work for our good. You work for our good because you love us. You love us. We know in all things God works for the good of those who love him. We know in all things God works for the good of those who love him. We know in all things God works for the good of those who love him. We know in all things God works for the good of those who love him.
Well, that was more like it. I love worship.
Same. Did it put you in a better mood now?
Hey, I was in a good mood. I just didn't enjoy Gordy's challenge. Don't get me wrong, I love a good challenge. I just don't know if that one was a good one.
Well, anyways, speaking of challenges, let's get back to talking about the story of Joseph.
Joseph, yeah, he had a difficult life. Maybe even as difficult as those yoga poses.
I definitely think his life was a lot more challenging than those poses. But do you know where his story begins?
Yeah, at home, when he was born.
Nope.
Before he was born, mom and dad?
Nope.
Great-grandparents?
Getting warmer.
Warmer, okay. When did his story begin?
Okay, so the story of Joseph has a lot to do with his family, but to understand the full picture, we have to go all the way back to the beginning of creation, the beginning of time.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. I better get comfy.
Yeah, you see, Joseph's story is part of God's story. It's part of God's love story for his creation, which is us.
Right, and we can say that Joseph's story is a part of the blueprints God was unfolding here on earth so that all people would know him and know how much he loves us.
You're absolutely right, Chase, but I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So let's go back to the beginning of creation and figure out how Joseph's story fits into God's story. You guys ready? Here we go.
A long, long time ago, before you were born, before your parents were born, before your grandparents or great-grandparents were born, even before Jesus was born, God created the world and everything in it. He also created a beautiful garden for the first man and woman. Their names were Adam and Eve, and the garden had everything they needed to live a wonderful life. In the center of the garden, God placed 2 trees. One had fruit that let people live forever. The other had fruit that let people tell the difference between good and evil. God gave Adam and Eve one rule: do not eat the fruit of the second tree, or you will surely die. But after a time, a serpent came and tricked Eve and talked her into eating the fruit. She gave it to Adam, and he ate it too. And so together they disobeyed God. Their decision to do things their own way, to believe the lie of the serpent over God's truth, was the first sin, and it changed everything for them and us. Adam and Eve could no longer live in the garden. They were forced out. Their sin now separated them from God, and death entered the world. Life got harder for Adam and Eve, but their family continued to grow and survive. But sin continued to grow as well. Soon there were so many people who were making bad choices. They did mean and harmful things to one another, and God's heart was filled with pain. He decided he wanted to start over, but there was one man who walked faithfully with him. His name was Noah. God told Noah that he was going to flood the earth to wipe out all the wicked people. Then he gave Noah plans to build an ark. The ark would protect Noah's family and 2 of every kind of animal that walked the earth. When the flood came, only Noah's wife, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives, and the animals survived. Noah's family grew into many tribes and nations. God asked them to spread out over all the earth. But instead, the people said to one another, "Come on, let's build a city for ourselves. Let's build a tower that reaches to the sky. We'll make a name for ourselves. Then we won't be scattered over the whole earth." God was not pleased with their decision to disobey, so he came down and gave them different languages. They could no longer talk together or understand each other. All building on the tower stopped, and the people separated into groups according to their language. They left the city and spread out over all the earth. Then one day, God spoke to a great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson of Noah's son, Seth. His name was Abraham, and he lived in the city of Haran. The Lord asked Abraham to leave his country, separate himself from the people he knew and his family, and go to an unknown place. God made a promise to Abraham called a covenant. He said, "Go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great. You will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you. I will put a curse on anyone who puts a curse on you. All nations on earth will be blessed because of you." So Abraham went just as the Lord had told him. He took his wife, Sarah, and his nephew Lot with him. He took all the people and possessions he had acquired in Haran, and together they started out for the land God would show him. Abraham was 75 years old when he left everything and everyone that he knew. The Lord led him to many places until he settled at Hebron in the land of Canaan. All this time, Abraham and Sarah had no children, but God had promised Abraham that he would become a great nation. And so when Abraham was 100 years old and Sarah was 90, he gave them a son named Isaac. When it was time for Isaac to marry, Abraham sent a servant back to his family in Haran and asked him to choose a wife for Isaac. The servant sought the Lord and came back with a girl named Rebekah. Isaac loved Rebekah and married her. He was 40 years old. When Isaac was 60, he prayed to the Lord for children, and twins were born. Their names were Esau and Jacob. Esau was the older, but he gave away his birthright to his younger brother, and when his father was old, the younger brother stole their father's blessing. This caused such disharmony in their family that Isaac and Rebekah sent Jacob back to Haran to find a wife for himself among their people. When Jacob arrived in Haran, he met Rachel and fell in love with her. But her father, Laban, would not let Jacob marry her until he had worked for him for 7 years. So Jacob worked for Laban for free for 7 years. When the time came for the wedding, Laban tricked Jacob into marrying Rachel's older sister Leah instead. Jacob was furious, but the wedding vows could not be undone. So Laban made a second deal with Jacob. He would let him marry Rachel, but he would have to promise to work another 7 years for free. Jacob agreed and married Rachel, whom he loved, just 1 week later. Then he remained in Haran for another 7 years. During that time, Rachel could not get pregnant, but Leah gave birth to 4 sons. Their names were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. This made Rachel sad and jealous. So she told Jacob to take her servant named Bilhah as his wife. Jacob did, and Bilhah gave birth to 2 more sons, Dan and Naphtali. This worried Leah greatly, and so she too gave her servant to Jacob to be his wife. Her name was Zilpah, and she gave Jacob 2 more sons, named Gad and Asher. Then Leah became pregnant herself again and had Issachar and Zebulun. They also had a daughter named Dinah. Now Jacob had 4 wives, 10 sons, and 1 daughter, but none of them were from Rachel, whom he loved. Then God answered Rachel's prayers, and she gave birth to Jacob's 11th son. His name was Joseph.
So what can we learn from Joseph's family history? Well, we know Joseph is part of God's plan and promise to Abraham. He is the 11th great-grandson and the start of a great nation God promised. We also know that God is going to bless all the nations of the earth through his family. You see, God is going to use the story of Joseph's life to show us that he is always in control and that he wants to have a relationship with us. The same kind of relationship he started with Adam and Eve back in the garden. The world started out perfect between God and people, and then sin came in and created a mess. As we learn about Joseph, we'll catch God's master plan unfold, his plan to bring us back into perfect relationship with him. So I have a question for you. Do you want that kind of relationship with God? Because he wants one with you. And as we study Joseph's life, you'll learn about a relationship with God looks like. Stay tuned and we'll talk each week about the tools Joseph gained along the way. Tools that taught him how to work faithfully with God and trust that he is in control of every situation. We can't wait for you to learn all about Joseph's crazy story. But if you want a sneak peek, you can read the whole story for yourself in the book of Genesis. You'll find it in chapters 37 through 50. Will you guys pray with me? Dear God, we just thank you so much for loving us and for desiring a relationship with us. We pray that as we go through the story of Joseph's life, that you would teach us that you are always in control and that the relationship you desire with us is so worth having. We love you, Jesus. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Hello, friends! Yeah, that's right. It's me, Allison, and you know what time it is? Bible verse time. Only today, we have a surprise for you. Instead of a Bible verse, we're gonna do a Bible flyby of the amazing story we just heard. Are you guys excited? Because I know I am. Okay, do you want me to show you what it looks like first? And then we're gonna learn it all together, and then you know the deal. See if we can do it 2 whole times in a row. That's right. Okay, so it looks a little something like this. Creation, fall, flood, tower, languages, Abraham, covenant, Isaac, Jacob, 10 sons, Joseph. Good job, guys. You think you can do that with me? I promise it's gonna be so much fun. So the first part we're gonna learn is creation. Awesome job. And we're doing creation because in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth and Adam and Eve. Awesome. So first part is creation. We're gonna create the world in front of us. Great job, guys. But then do you know what happened? That's right. Adam and Eve sinned, and we call this the fall. So we're gonna go from creation, and then we're gonna fall with our hands, okay? Awesome job. And then everyone on the entire earth was evil and mean except for Noah. So God sent a great flood. That's right. We're gonna take our hands in front of us and act like we're going over rising water for a flood. Awesome job. Okay. And then as Noah's family was expanding and getting bigger, they didn't do what God told them to do when he said to go over the earth. Instead, they decided to build a great tower. So we're gonna build a great tower with our arm. Great job. And then to confuse them, God sent many languages. So we're gonna take our tower hand and then we're gonna act like a mouth is talking for languages. You guys got that? Let's see if we can do that first half all together. Here we go. Creation, fall, flood, tower, languages. Amazing job, guys. That's the first half. Good job. Okay, now for the second half. Here we go. So, God made a covenant with Abraham. So Abraham is number 1. We're gonna take our finger, one finger up for Abraham. And then for covenant, we're gonna put our hand to our chest because it's like a promise. So God made a promise with Abraham. Let's try those together. Abraham, covenant. Great job. And then Abraham had a son named Isaac. So now we have 2 fingers up. Great job. And then Isaac had a son named Jacob. So now we have 3 fingers up. And do you guys know how many sons Jacob had? That's right, 10 sons. That's a lot of sons. And then, do you know who Jacob's 11th son was? That's right, baby Joseph. So we're gonna make our hands like we're cradling a baby for Joseph. Awesome job. Okay, let's see if we can do the second half all together. Here we go. Abraham, covenant. Isaac, Jacob, 10 sons, Joseph. Great job, guys. Okay, now that we learned both halves, do you think we can do the entire thing 2 times in a row? Yeah, I know you guys can. You're pros by now. Okay, let's do it 1 time slow, and then 1 time, let's see if we can do it regular speed, okay? So make sure there's nobody around you, because this is a lot of hand movements, all right? I told you guys it was gonna be fun. See? Okay, let's do it all together. Here we go. Creation, fall, flood, tower, languages. Abraham, covenant. Isaac, Jacob, 10 sons, Joseph. Good job, guys. Okay, you know what that means? 1 more time. Let's try to speed it up a little bit, okay? Let's see how well we can do. Here we go. Creation, fall, flood, tower, languages. Abraham, covenant. Isaac, Jacob, 10 sons, Joseph. Amazing job, guys. You got it, okay? I told you, fun, right? So now that we learned our entire story that we did today, remember to keep practicing, because that's the short version of the entire story of Joseph so far, okay? I can't wait to see you guys next week.
Don't you just love that Joseph was Abraham's great-grandson?
Yeah, I know. And the family is part of the covenant God made with Abraham and the promise to grow them into a great nation.
Well, he was son number 11, and that's a lot of sons. And his sons will go on and have sons and daughters, which they'll go on and have sons and daughters, and so on. It's a great nation in the making.
Yep, and God is going to show the whole world, that includes you and me, how much he loves us through the things he does in Joseph's family. And that is such a huge reason why the story of Joseph is so important for us to know.
Isn't that crazy? But right now, he's just a baby.
A baby today and a teenager next week.
What? Really? Our little boy's growing up so fast.
I know, there's so much to the story.
Wow, I can't wait.
I know, me neither. So join us again next week as we unpack Joseph's life. Joseph's story is incredible. There are good days,
And bad days.
dreams.
And drama, and God is with Joseph all the way.
In fact, we're going to learn that God is always in control, no matter what happens in life. And more than anything else,
He
that
wants a relationship with us. So stay tuned for next week.
Or you can stay around for a couple more minutes to join us for Workshop with Sarah.
Hey guys, I'm Sarah, and this is Sarah's Workshop with John. Welcome to the workshop, guys. Today we're going to learn how to build a bird feeder that looks like this. Isn't it nice?
I like that.
It's very dazzling.
Super cool.
So, because it's so close to summer, I thought it'd be really awesome to build a tropical paradise for our birds. So this is a little bird feeder cabana. Now you can make your bird feeder look like anything. I chose the cabana because even birds need a tropical vacation every now and again. So, this is what you're gonna need. First of all, I bought almost all this stuff from the dollar store. So it's a very easy thing to, these are all really easy things to buy, or you might even be able to find these things at home. So you're going to need a plastic bowl. I used a plastic plate for this one, but you can also use a Frisbee. Wing, 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 wing. Yeah, fun to play with and build bird feeders out of. You're also going to need scissors, a hot glue gun, a drill, and carriage bolts. These are about 10 inches long, 5/8 thick, and you can get them from the hardware store for like $1 and change. So not too expensive. And then I have nuts that fit our carriage bolts. And then finally, you're gonna need some kind of rope, like paracord, something that's hefty enough to hold your bird feeder. Got it? You ready for this?
Actually, we also need your parents' permission before you go using a drill like this.
Yep. Do you have your parents' permission?
I can call my mom right now.
Do it.
Okay.
Get your mom and dad in the room. This is a way more fun project to build with them. And also another thing you're gonna need to know is that you need their permission to even buy any of this stuff, to find any of this stuff. Don't go drilling holes in your sister or brother's Frisbee for no reason, okay? So make sure that they are building stuff with you, because it makes it more fun.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. The very first thing we need to do is drill a hole inside of our bowl and our Frisbee. Now, we have a handy dandy easy way to do this all at once. We're gonna hit all the birds with all the stones. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our Frisbee on top of our bowl, and then we're gonna drill through the Frisbee and the bowl at the same time. What?
That's awesome.
I know. Exactly. Now, really important, when you drill through plastic, especially thinner plastic like this, you want to make sure you go really slow so you don't crack your plastic. Now, if you do crack your plastic, you can always glue it back together, but the slower you go, the more intact your plastic will stay. So we're going to go really slow. Now, a drill has two different directions. Do you know which those directions are?
Forwards and backwards.
Yes! Awesome. So you want to make sure you're drilling forward into your bowl.
Don't go
and then
backwards.
Don't do that, because then you'll never make a hole in your bowl in Frisbee. And you want to make sure that you hit the reverse button when it's time to drill out, okay?
Got it.
So we're going to give this to John. Because, power tools, John, those two go together. Now remember, another thing you need to keep in mind is where you're drilling this. So if you go really slow, it's not going to pop through and drill through a table. We don't want to do that.
See,
so real
it's on
slow.
reverse. Now it's forward.
Now it's forwards. Okay, we got the right direction. Slow. So when you go really fast like John did, there we go. When you go really fast like John did, you destroy your Frisbee and you don't even drill into your bowl. So we're gonna try
This
that
is
again,
what not to do.
but slower.
Slower.
Okay, we're gonna try
Got
that
it.
again, but just slower. Riveting television. Are you in reverse again?
Sorry, that was in reverse.
It's okay, guys. It takes some skill to get used to the forward and backward way. Okay, how'd we do?
I got it.
You got it? Yay, John!
Look, there it is.
Ta-da! Okay, so now that we have a hole in our Frisbee, and thankfully I already pre-drilled mine, and we have an extra Frisbee.
Oh, thank goodness.
Just like God has so much grace for us, I have grace for you, John.
I need all the grace I can get.
Yep. Okay, so got a hole in this Frisbee, got a hole in this bowl. Step number 2. Step number 2 is we're going to put our carriage bolts through our Frisbee or plate, whatever you decided to use. Okay, so we're going to feed this through. We want to make sure the rim is facing up because that's going to help hold all the food in. So if it's facing this way, what do you think happens to all the food? It goes down, down, down. Not in a burning ring of fire, but in a blaze of glory. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue to help hold that carriage bolt in place. When you use a hot glue gun, always do so with your parents. It can burn you. I'm an adult and I've even burned myself using the hot glue gun.
I still can't use a glue gun.
He's not even allowed to use a hot glue gun because he just burns himself every time, and that's not good.
All the time.
So for his safety and yours, make sure there is a responsible adult in the room helping you out. There we go. And then you can blow on it to help it dry faster. And now we can't share these because I just spit germs all over mine and yours.
Me too.
So this is mine now. Okay. Now, once your glue is pretty much dry, the next thing we're gonna do is attach the bowl to the top. So to do that, you're gonna need a nut, and then you're going to feed your nut onto your bowl, and you're gonna drop it down about an inch and a bit, okay? Because you want some of your bolt sticking out on top. Perfect. So then once you've done that, you're gonna take your bowl, and you're gonna pop it right on top, just like this. Ta-da! Ta-da! Okay, and then you're gonna need one more nut. You're gonna put that nut on top. On top. Be careful. They will fly around. Okay, so we're not gonna screw it down all the way tight yet because we need to attach our rope. So we're using this like corded braided rope, but you can use like paracord or anything sturdy enough to hang your bird feeder. We cut ours about a foot long. So that's just about what you need to make this work, okay? You can make it a little bit longer, but not too much longer. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to tie a knot, just like you're tying your shoes. Only we're not gonna finish tying our shoes, we're only gonna do the first part. Ta-da! Just like that. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie a square knot. So we just put left over right, under right, like that. And now we're gonna do the exact same thing, only opposite. So we're gonna go right, over left, under left. And before we snug that knot up nice and tight, we're gonna put it right over the top of our bolt. And then we're gonna snug it with all of our might. It really helps to make those noises because it actually feels so mighty and strong. Okay, very good. And you can put a little bit of hot glue on there too to help hold it, but going nowhere. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to tighten our nuts up. So we're gonna tighten the one from the bottom, tighten the one on top. So they're nice and snugly. Okay, and just like that, you have a bird feeder. Woohoo! Now, for your bird feeder, you can get bird seed at the pet store. You use nuts, you can use different kinds of seeds. I like to take an old toilet paper roll and put peanut butter on it and then roll it in birdseed. And then if you cut that, you can put it right on your carriage bowl so it's sticking upright, or you can fill seeds in here. Now, you can also decorate this like crazy. Stickers on it, you can paint it, you can make it look like this cabana. You know, let your creativity go wild, right?
Yeah.
How are you gonna decorate yours, John?
I'm gonna put the little thing in the middle, like you said.
Okay.
With the peanut butter.
Peanut butter, toilet paper, birdseed holder thingy, yeah.
That's awesome.
Let's do it.
Cool.
Okay, well, thank you so much today, and have fun building your bird feeders.
Have fun, everybody.